Uggaha. On one occasion the Lord was dwelling at Badia in the Jatiya grove. Then Uggaha, Mendika's grandson, approached the Lord, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and said to the Lord, Bhante, let the Lord together with 3 other monks consent to accept tomorrow's meal from me. The Lord consented by silence. Then Uggaha, having understood that the Lord had consented, rose from his seat, paid homage to the Lord, circumambulated him keeping the right side toward him, and departed. Then, when the night had passed, in the morning the Lord dressed, took his bowl and robe, and went to Uggaha's residence, where he sat down on the appointed seat. Then, with his own hands, Uggaha, Mendika's grandson, served and satisfied the Lord with various kinds of delicious food. When the Lord had finished eating and had put away his bowl, Uggaha sat down to one side and said to the Lord, Bhante, these girls of mine will be going to their husbands' families. Let the Lord exhort them and instruct them in a way that will lead to their welfare and happiness for a long time. The Lord then said to those girls, So then, girls, you should train yourselves thus. To whichever husband our parents give us, doing so out of a desire for our good, seeking our welfare, taking compassion on us, acting out of compassion for us, we will rise before him and retire after him, undertaking whatever needs to be done, agreeable in our conduct and pleasing in our speech. Thus should you train yourselves. And you should train yourselves thus. We will honor, respect, esteem, and venerate those whom our husband respects, his mother and father, ascetics and Brahmins, and when they arrive we will offer them a seat and water. Thus should you train yourselves. And you should train yourselves thus. We will be skillful and diligent in attending to our husband's domestic chores, whether knitting or weaving. We will possess sound judgment about them in order to carry out and arrange them properly. Thus should you train yourselves. And you should train yourselves thus. We will find out what our husband's domestic helpers, whether slaves, messengers, or workers, have done and left undone. We will find out the condition of those who are ill. And we will distribute to each an appropriate portion of food. Thus should you train yourselves. And you should train yourselves thus. We will guard and protect whatever income our husband brings home, whether money or grain, silver or gold, and we will not be spendthrifts, thieves, wastrels, or squanderers of his earnings. Thus should you train yourselves. When, girls, a woman possesses these 5 qualities, with the breakup of the body, after death, she is reborn in companionship with the agreeable-bodied devas. She does not despise her husband, the man, who constantly supports her, who ardently and eagerly, always brings her whatever she wants. Nor does a good woman scold her husband, with speech caused by jealousy. The wise woman shows veneration to all those whom her husband reveres. She rises early, works diligently, manages the domestic help. She treats her husband in agreeable ways, and safeguards the wealth he earns. The woman who fulfills her duties thus, following her husband's will and wishes, is reborn among the devas, called the agreeable ones. Siha. On one occasion the Lord was dwelling at Vesali in the hall with the peaked roof in the great wood. Then Siha the general approached the Lord, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and said, Is it possible, Bhante, to point out a directly visible fruit of giving? It is, Siha, the Lord said. A donor, Siha, a munificent giver, is dear and agreeable to many people. This is a directly visible fruit of giving. Again, good persons resort to a donor, a munificent giver. This, too, is a directly visible fruit of giving. Again, a donor, a munificent giver, acquires a good reputation. This, too, is a directly visible fruit of giving. Again, whatever assembly a donor, a munificent giver, approaches, whether of Khatyas, Brahmins, householders, or ascetics, he approaches it confidently and composed. This too is a directly visible fruit of giving. Again, with the break-up of the body, after death, a donor, a munificent giver, is reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. This is a fruit of giving pertaining to future lives. When this was said, Siha the general said to the Lord, Bhante, I do not go by faith in the Lord concerning those 4 directly visible fruits of giving declared by him. I know them, too. For I am a donor, a munificent giver, and I am dear and agreeable to many people. I am a donor, a munificent giver, and many good persons resort to me. I am a donor, a munificent giver, and I have acquired a good reputation as a donor, sponsor, and supporter of the Sangha. I am a donor, a munificent giver, and whatever assembly I approach, whether of Khatyas, Brahmins, householders, or ascetics, I approach it confidently and composed. I do not go by faith in the Lord concerning these 4 directly visible fruits of giving declared by him. I know them, too. But when the Lord tells me, Siha, with the break-up of the body, after death, a donor, a munificent giver, is reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world, I do not know this, and here I go by faith in the Lord. So it is, Siha, so it is. With the break-up of the body, after death, a donor, a munificent giver, is reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. By giving, he becomes dear and many resort to him. He attains a good reputation and his fame increases. The generous man is composed and confidently enters the assembly. Therefore, seeking happiness, wise persons give gifts, having removed the stain of miserliness. When they are settled in the triple heaven, for a long time they delight in companionship with the devas, having taken the opportunity to do beneficial deeds. Passing from here, self-luminous, they roam in Nandana, where they delight, rejoice, and enjoy themselves, furnished with the 5 objects of sensual pleasure. Having fulfilled the word of the unattached stable one, the Sugata's disciples rejoice in heaven. The benefits of donation. Because there are these 5 benefits of giving. What 5? 1 is dear and agreeable to many people. Good persons resort to 1. 1 acquires a good reputation. 1 is not deficient in the layperson's duties. With the break-up of the body, after death, 1 is reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. These are the 5 benefits in giving. By giving, 1 becomes dear. 1 follows the duty of the good. The good self-controlled monks always resort to 1. They teach 1 the Dharma that dispels all suffering. Having understood which, the taintless one here attains Nibbana. Timely donation. Because there are these 5 timely gifts. What 5? 1 gives a gift to a visitor. 1 gives a gift to one setting out on a journey. 1 gives a gift to a patient. 1 gives a gift during a famine. 1 first presents the newly harvested crops and fruits to the virtuous ones. These are the 5 timely gifts. At the proper time, those wise, charitable, and generous folk give a timely gift to the noble ones, who are stable and upright. Given with a clear mind, one's offering is vast. Those who rejoice in such deeds, or who provide other service, do not miss out on the offering. They too partake of the merit. Therefore, with a non-regressing mind, one should give a gift where it yields great fruit. Merits are the support of living beings in the other world. Donation of food. Because a donor who gives food gives the recipients 5 things. What 5? 1 gives life, beauty, happiness, strength, and discernment. Having given life, one partakes of life, whether celestial or human. Having given beauty, one partakes of beauty, whether celestial or human. Having given happiness, one partakes of happiness, whether celestial or human. Having given strength, one partakes of strength, whether celestial or human. Having given discernment, one partakes of discernment, whether celestial or human. A donor who gives food gives the recipients these 5 things. The wise one is a giver of life, strength, beauty, and discernment. The intelligent one is a donor of happiness, and in turn acquires happiness. Having given life, strength, beauty, happiness, and discernment, one is long-lived and famous. Wherever one is reborn. Faith. Because these 5 benefits come to a clansman endowed with faith. What 5? When the good persons in the world show compassion, they first show compassion to the person with faith, not so to the person without faith. When they approach anyone, they first approach the person with faith, not so the person without faith. When they receive alms, they first receive alms from the person with faith, not so from the person without faith. When they teach the Dharma, they first teach the Dharma to the person with faith, not so to the person without faith. With the breakup of the body, after death, a person with faith is reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. These are the 5 benefits that come to a clansman who has faith. Just as at a crossroads on level ground, a great banyan tree becomes the resort for birds all around, so the clansman endowed with faith becomes the resort for many people. For bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, male lay followers, and female lay followers. A large tree with a mighty trunk, branches, leaves, and fruit, firm roots, and bearing fruit, is a support for many birds. Having flown across the sky, the birds resort to this delightful base. Those in need of shade partake of its shade. Those needing fruit enjoy its fruit. Just so, when a person is virtuous, endowed with faith, of humble manner, compliant, gentle, welcoming, soft, those in the world who are fields of merit, devoid of lust and hatred, devoid of delusion, taintless, resort to such a person. They teach him the Dharma that dispels all suffering, having understood which, the taintless one here attains nibbana.